Wild Hearts is a new Monster Hunter-like game from Koei Tecmo and EA Originals. Capcom, they have been honing that formula for many years with Monster Hunter, with varying levels of competition, and now it looks like they might have a decent competitor on their hands. So while the comparisons to Monster Hunter cannot be avoided, the team-wide Wild Hearts have packed in plenty of innovation, making this a really enjoyable action monster romp. The conversation surrounding Wild Hearts is a tricky one. It's hard to talk about this game and any other game in this very specific genre without talking about Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter has set the scene for many years, and it goes back multiple generations of consoles at this point, so there's elements of gameplay and the UI which could be directly lifted from Capcom's latest entry to the Monster Hunter series. We've also got direct comparisons in huge monster battles, where we slowly chip away at these giant beast health bars, chopping off bits and pieces of the monster's body, while you chase down these massive creatures through a semi-open map. As well as the gameplay, other mechanics are similar too, with crafting and progression in the game, plus you've got 8 weapons at your disposal. Wild Hearts leans into this comparison to Monster Hunter without really directly referencing it, so fans of the Monster Hunter series are likely to have their heads turned, especially as we're in between major releases at the minute, with Monster Hunter World years old at this point, and Monster Hunter Rise, well, that was optimised for Nintendo Switch, and that went back to its handheld roots, but although it did get a release on PC roughly a year after its initial release on the Nintendo Switch. So fans of the Monster Hunter games will be comfortable using the weapons to attack the massive beasts, plus you've got dodging, that'll help you get out of tight situations, and depending on which weapon you're using, that'll help you in your mobility around the map. Rise introduced the wire bug in the latest Monster Hunter game, and Wild Hearts follows suit with some great mobility options, something that's been lacking from previous titles, meaning there's a really good feeling of speed and agility to Wild Hearts, which serves the game very well. One of Wild Hearts' strengths is the simplification of the game mechanics compared to Monster Hunter. One example of this is weapon sharpening. So for those not familiar, in Monster Hunter your weapon can get dull during battle, and it means that it does less damage. So then what you have to do during a hunt is you'd have to find some cover and whip out a whetstone and sharpen your weapon. So no need to do that in Wild Hearts, you can simply smash and slash away to your heart's content. So you do have stat boosting meals and hunt prep. Now that has also been pared back to the minimum, meaning you got more time out there in battle rather than having to prepare for a large portion of your play session. So while Wild Hearts does simplify some of the mechanics, it's also missing some of the features, such as capturing monsters, which always felt like a more humane way to end a hunt. Now, the byproduct of the simplification means it's easier and quicker to pick up and play, offering less barriers to entry when compared to the Monster Hunter series, which can really only be a good thing. Now, I've spoken to many people about Monster Hunter and they say it all sounds great, but the complexity and the mechanics really just gets in the way and stops them from playing. The most unique feature of Wild Hearts compared to Monster Hunter is the Karakuri system, which is essentially building little platforms, devices and contraptions to help you out in battle against the monsters. So you can just imagine the pitch at Koei Tecmo and EA Originals. This is basically Monster Hunter crossed with Fortnite. So Fortnite's building system is dynamic and fast, and over the years they've stripped away the complexity, and in some cases the building altogether. But here in Wild Hearts, the Karakuri system allows you to build walls, you can build platforms, you can build little jumps, and you can use structures like fast travel points and also zip lines as well. It's really quick and easy to build something, it's not cumbersome, it's easy to understand, which is a good trick to pull off given the complexity in the game already. Building flows with the combat and it all feels really good together, which is really important. Much of the criticism of competitors and the previous Monster Hunter entries has been the speed, and adding the building element into the gameplay loop could quite have easily slowed down everything, but this all manages to get everything in the right balance and maintains decent movement speed. Well, Karakuri items and structures are definitely useful in a fight. They allow you to close the gap on a monster very quickly, plus the structures stay around the arena throughout the hunt, so you can easily build blocks to jump off, you can build walls to try and keep the monsters away from you, plus you've got torches, they can give you easy fire attacks. So as you progress through the game, you can upgrade your Karakuri abilities and open up new structures like bombs or chained combo attacks. You can also equip 4 Karakuri at the same time, and you've got 6 in total, leaving the door open for gameplay expansions at a later date. The Karakuri has its own upgrade tree as well. You'll be able to unlock new structures as you progress, plus the upgrades to existing ones And the upgrades come in real handy, including dry racks or jars that help increase your stats. Other upgrades include cosmetic items like signs, benches, and other decorative items that you can place around the maps and the play spaces. Well, Karakuri is one method to navigate around a monster at speed, however it's your weapon that is going to be most effective when you are on the attack. So you've got 8 weapons in total, including a katana, a huge greatsword, and also a gun. So these are some of the weapons you're going to be familiar with if you've experienced the monster hunting genre, but Wild Hearts does have some unique weapons, included a bladed umbrella, which is well suited to a melee focused player. You've got the claw blade as well, which is another unique item that allows you to hop and jump around your target and inflict damage at a distance and also close up. So it's similar to a hook shot, allowing you to grapple onto an enemy and attack from all angles. So our tools and items plus our movement is all very well and good, but the true stars of the show are the monsters themselves. This is another point of differentiation when it comes to Monster Hunter, whereas in Capcom's titles we do see a lot of dragons and dinosaur style monsters. Here we've got a decent array of animal types. For example, we've got a crow, a wolf and a big monkey. They're not regular size of course, they're all really large and they are very vicious. So Wild Hearts is all about learning their attack patterns, movements and their tells, and when you see an opportunity you go in for that attack. So while there is variety in the monster's visual design, all the battles feel quite similar. So we may have a different colour variant or a different element on a monster, for example electricity or fire or something like that, but once you get to a certain level in the game the variety seems to come to a standstill. I don't want to give Koei Tecmo too much grief for this, as essentially they have reproduced a very exciting gaming experience here. There's definitely room to improve when it comes to monster variety, so more weapons and Karakuri variants. As a first go this is great. I would like to see some more variation, especially if you're going to pull me away from other established titles where the variety is core to the replayability. Well, talking about replayability, that is where Wild Hearts gets a cross rather than a tick. So the monster variety isn't quite there and the campaign gets stale pretty quickly, making me lean into the co-op nature of the game rather than the single player. So if you've got a big group and you can call upon people regularly, then this is going to be fine. However, if you're a solo player, then you might find your attention waning rather quickly. Now overall, this is a great first go from Koei Tecmo and EA. It is some serious competition to Monster Hunter, and while I don't think it's going to sustain attention for Monster Hunter fans in the long term, it is a decent game to jump into while we're in between Monster Hunter titles. There's some great innovation here with the Karakuri building game mechanics, and the speed of gameplay is very impressive. Graphically, it's not really the best game either, so you've got some great detail in the characters and the monsters, plus some decent animations, but the environments, they are really bad. Some of the worst that I've seen on a next generation title. For example, the snow. Oh my goodness me, looks absolutely awful. It's a decent attempt and it's good to see some competition for Monster Hunter, but I'm not sure this one has the staying power to hook players and draw their attention away from the sequel to Monster Hunter World. Well, that is it for now for Wild Hearts. Pretty good, really enjoyed my time with it, although I'm not really sure it's got that staying power on it, but if you like Monster Hunter, I would definitely recommend you check it out. As always, thank you so much for watching or listening. Well, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.